Welcome back, Start the Thing family. So excited to connect with you all again. If you are new to the show, my name is Rob, and I am so glad you are listening today. In this space, we talk about side hustles and learn from folks who have been successful, including chatting with folks who have turned their side hustles into full-time businesses. Today, we get to connect with Jim and Sarah from Frothy Sloth Coffee Hut. Jim and Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hey,
thank you
how's
for
it
having
going?
So excited to have you, and thank you, friends of the show here. Our friends Jim and Sarah have made a pretty big move, so thank you for taking some time to jump in. So, all right, let's get started. Today we get to talk about food trucks, or maybe better said, coffee huts. But before we do that, Jim and Sarah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name's Sarah. It's just me, my husband Jim, and my son Derek. We're in three little clan. So I moved from Ohio back when I was about 19 to Florida. Long story short, met my husband there, joined the military. We moved over across the country to California. And from there, we moved quite a few other states. We move a lot, so getting up and, transitioning isn't new to us. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking each time we do move, but we made it work. I think it's just the first few months getting transitioned and feeling settled a little bit. But yeah, I did beauty industry for over 15 years. I love working with people, communicating and just having some laughs and, making people feel good about themselves with hair and skin. And I got into weddings a little bit with me like that. So I worked with people quite a bit throughout my adult life. So like I said, transitioning with that too is kind of difficult because you're kind of jumping around new salons and new people. But like I said, it's an easier transition, I think, when you do it multiple times. So yeah, I guess last May, Jim was getting out. I'll let him tell that little story, but of the Marine Corps, and we were thinking of something to do, something different, something we can do on our own, and just have fun with it. Life's too short. We didn't want to take life too seriously. The Marine Corps is a little bit, strict, and we just wanted to kind of live life and teach Derek, our son, to just do whatever you feel is best and just treat people kindly along the way. So
Live life by the balls.
Live life by the balls.
All right, I like it. That sounds like a T-shirt just waiting to be made.
I know. So that's where we get our saying, "Stay frothy," is just stay chill. Ironically, sloths move slow. Coffee, if you need coffee, you're feeling slothy, get some coffee. Or if you're, vice versa. Yeah. But so, so we decided, we had our utility trailer. We've moved from state to state, and we were looking to change it into something new and fun and something we can do together. And this was kind of a leap of faith, and we just started purchasing things along the way, and we had some help along the way as well. But yeah, I guess that's a little bit of my story. There's more to the coffee part, but I know that.
We'll get into the coffee part in a second here. Jim, how about yourself? So obviously, thank you for both of you for service. We really appreciate that. What's some of your background and how you got to chatting with me today?
Well, thank you for Sea Porter. I appreciate it. And if it wasn't for this one over here, I wouldn't have probably made it to where I am today. So, thank you, Sarah. But about me, I grew up in a blue collar family in Massachusetts. Out of high school, moved to Florida with my family, where I met Sarah, and then joined the military. So from there, I joined as a diesel mechanic, working on trucks, and did that for about a little over 13 years, and then got medically retired. But on my way out, there's a program called the Skill Bridge. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's basically a program like your last 3 to 6 months active duty, you can kind of intern with a business that you want to, move into when you get out of the military. So there was a mobile coffee trailer in Camp Lejeune, and I did all the paperwork. They approved it, and I basically was a barista for the last 3 months of my military career.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was weird. They're like, "Man, how did you do that?" I'm like, "I just applied, and they said yeah." So, but I learned a lot from that, and from then on, I kind of thought, hey, I've had multiple different locations, multiple bosses, some good, some bad. I kind of just want to work for myself and not answer to anyone at this point. So we decided to start our trailer and sat down and kind of took a little bit of figuring. Between the three of us, we came up with, Frothy Sloth Coffee Hut. Just like she mentioned.
Well, that was kind of funny because if you want to show him your tattoo, I don't know if you can see it.
I don't know if you can see it, but.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So, the frothy, like I said, sloths live slow, die whenever mentality. And so that's why we were always frothing our coffee, our protein powder in our coffee. So I think the sloth and frothy kind of together.
And you like to rhyme, so.
And I like to rhyme. And then we had to have coffee on the logo, on something, or else no one would know what it is. On a trailer. Just a coffee mug doesn't really say. People are still going to be confused. So we're like coffee something, and we're like, coffee truck, kind of boring. So we was between house and hut, and hut. Derek chose that one, and we were like, you know what, the coffee hut. So now we have our logo we created, and we also had some help with Crystal Coast Graphic.
Yeah, in Jacksonville, they did our graphics. We kind of sent them, some drafts, and they kind of came up with something, Costa Rican vibe. Just to kind of the chill vibe. So it ended up working out. It was literally just a shot in the dark. We kind of just winged it until everything just went into play, and then a few months later
I love the part because a lot of times when I'm talking with people and they're maybe interested in a side hustle, one of the things that I often will recommend is like try a mini hustle. So like before you jump all the way in or you spend all this money on these different kinds of things, go give it a shot. So I love that in your story, which was, hey, I don't know that I'm going to want to do this full time, but I'm willing to give it a shot, kind of a thing. And then that the military had that opportunity for you to do that trial run to basically, hey, I actually like this or I don't like it. And then being able to take that moment, that opportunity to be successful, and then spin it into what you're doing now is a super fun story and a really kind of cool origin story. And then I love how you guys are bringing in the names and the rhyming, Sarah. That's very, very nice. But I've got to ask, this is maybe an inappropriate question, but I'm going to ask anyways. So you said you got to grab life by the balls, and then you've got the frothy stuff. So is there a drink called Frothy Balls or not yet?
It's Frothy Nut.
No, but there's a drink called the Frothy Nut.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I also made like homemade granola balls, and I made them before we started. Healthy oat balls with peanut butter and all that stuff. And Jim's like, we got to serve them. So I started making them for work when I opened, and they were like a big hit. They were like cute little like balls, and we were the frothy balls. But it almost was like, because you're on the military base, so all these young kids are like, hee hee, silly names.
I'll take a frothy nut. All
this stuff. So it was like frothy ball, and so I ended up changing the name to granola ball because it was just like it got a little like silly, but no, it was fun. So when I name a new drink and I put it on our board, it's like something silly, and he's like, really? I was like, the better, the sillier that is, the better people just want it. They're like, ooh, that sounds good. Let's take it. So I'm always trying to do something silly.
They're willing to try something that has a unique name to it. So, all right. So starting a side hustle, obviously, or a business now as you haven't done it, is not an easy feat. What were some of the challenges that you had to come up against and overcome initially?
Initially, I thought it would be the building part, but, doing the skill bridge and kind of, seeing how a business is running in a coffee trailer kind of gave me an idea, it's doable. I think on the build part, it was mostly, electrical and basically just figuring out as I go trying to wire a trailer and plumb it and do all that. Business was that?
Nick was
we got a lot of help with people involved, and they did some work and helped us out a lot. But I think the electrical was probably the hardest.
Electrical and
then
putting
the water
in and just kind of seeing what goes where in a small little space.
Yeah. Well, and I would imagine too, do you guys have to do some stuff with what would the right term be, but being able to operate as a food truck or understanding what the rules are within towns and stuff? I would imagine that was probably a little tricky too.
Yeah, for the business side, like the paperwork side, that wasn't too bad in North Carolina. But I had to figure out how to do an LLC on my own, kind of get a business license, insurance, just certain things.
Tax ID for like wholesale, wholesale, like
the federal employee number. I knew none of that, but just basically Google and YouTube, helped me through that. But I think our biggest struggle since then is when we just recently moved to Colorado is the difference in rules and regulations between the states. Like North Carolina was pretty easygoing, and then Colorado was like, no, you fall under the food and health department. You need all this additional stuff. So I spent probably about the first month when we got here putting in 4 sinks and adding more plumbing into our trailer that we already had. So
we were I think it took us 2.5 weeks to get up and running here in Colorado, but he started the paperwork a lot sooner before we left, just to get a head start. And then when we got here, we were like, oh, that's a surprise. So it was a little bit we wanted to open within the first week or two, but like you said, we had to add the sinks to make ourselves. There was a couple ways that we could have went about it, and we decided to go a little bit more expensive in the beginning, but long term it'll save us over time and having a little additional stuff in the trailer. So that was a little shocker because when you leave somewhere and you're like, oh, this is a piece of cake, and then you're like, oh great, is this gonna work? Are we gonna be able to open? Is this gonna cost us a crap ton of money? It costs a lot to move too. So but yeah, about 2.5 weeks in, maybe 3 weeks at the most, we were back up and running. So I was
that's great.
That too. So it was a little challenging, this one, just because we have the business. So
yeah, no, and then starting over, I'm sure, is another little challenge. But so what did success look like out of the gate for y'all a little over a year ago? What was that kind of in your mind looking like? And has success changed now that you're a little bit farther down the pathway?
When we started, it was like, oh, let's just do this.
No expectations.
No expectations. The coffee that we served just spoke for itself too. So we got a lot of feedback. People loved our coffee. It's all about customer service too. And I really enjoy talking to people. It's a moment of just them just taking a break from their day. So it's not long. I'm not sitting with a customer for 5 hours like I would be doing their hair or something like that. So, but it's a fun environment, and I guess it just I don't know. It just kind of unfolded is just places would have us, and then it's such a great experience that then we get invited to something else, and then something else, and then the Marine Corps really did have a lot of events too that his bosses would help us with different events on base, and then schools, we started doing schools, and then they would hear about schools. So it just it was things just happened so quickly, and I was like, wow. Every day I would wake up and I can't believe this is something that we were just going to do for fun, and it became
full-time job.
Yeah, full-time.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
Now are you seeing this as an opportunity to be, once you get kind of reestablished in Colorado, is the goal, Jim, for you to end up kind of doing this as a full-time gig and hoping that this will provide financially the needs of the family?
Yeah, we talked about it. Being full-time back in the real world after retiring. I went straight from the Marine Corps into running off, and then stepped down recently, about a month ago when we moved here. So I honestly don't know what the future brings. I know, we just started up, a couple weeks ago, and we already see, the trickle effect with schools starting here next week. The emails are rolling in of requests and events, and I don't want to leave her hanging. I know
there's something,
she's her partner. So
I was super sad for Jim to go back to work. I mean, I begged him, like, "Are you sure you want to get a job? Like, that sounds so boring. What about stay frothy? Like, going back to work is not frothy." Anyways, but of course he's one of those people. He's like, the challenge. He loves a challenge. He felt like, okay, we did this, and I can see you doing this full time, but slinging coffee is fun occasionally. Like we thought it would just start off as, and now becoming like a full-time thing and busy, events. Wasn't like, what he wanted to do all the time. Kind of left it up to me. Hey, this is your little,
pass the torch.
He knows how to hustle some coffee, so I'm going to miss him. But right now, because I don't have any employees, my son's going back to school, so he's super helpful. He's super, just smiling at the window with his cute freckles, and he did really good with people. So, but now he's going back to school next week. So I unfortunately can't take on any big, huge events. Like I know if there's more than like a certain amount of people, I have to have help with, and it takes two. So I'll probably have to. I recruit him for the weekends and evenings still. But
I work 7 days.
Yeah, he's like always working. I'm like, please. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, me for sure full time. Like I love the salon industry, but I don't love it enough to go back. And this is my favorite job I've ever had.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing that. That's so fun. So let me ask you this question. When did you realize, like, there probably was a moment, at least for you, Sarah, where you're like, okay, maybe this is more than an actual side hustle and a full-time business, something that can be my career, so to speak. When was that moment for you all?
Ooh,
probably one of our first biggest events when we got.
Having fun with it. One, I think within the first couple of months, I was already having fun with it, but I didn't realize it was gonna. I never imagined making the money that we did in the beginning. I didn't realize a food truck could produce, especially just serving coffee. I mean, so that, I don't want to be like greedy at all, but it was like a surprise at how much income we were bringing. And we live by our means, below our means. Is that how you say it? And so we're always about saving. We want to have fun, but also obviously you have to have an income. So I wanted to be able to have money saved up to where we can go on vacation and go do fun things without money. And I was pretty shocked that the income that we were bringing in. So I wouldn't say that would be my reasoning for a full time, but I just, when you wake up and you go to work and it doesn't feel like work kind of feeling, that's how I felt. But unfortunately, money to where we comfortably. But yes.
I think one of our big, like when we did our first event where it was
4 hours nonstop.
Slinging
like
coffee
4
for 4 hours. Didn't have trying to hold my bladder and trying to push drinks out left and right, turning around. The line never stopped. At that point, I was like, wow, this is real. Like, this work. So we did it.
I love it.
Yeah, we did it for, from May 3rd, and then we moved here June
10th was the last working day in North Carolina. That was my son's last day of school. And then the following morning, and then we opened back up right after 4th of July. Yeah. So we're just over
13 months we were there. And then I could see it being a full-time, this is as good as it was in North Carolina, maybe even better. But I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, what was I going to say? I was thinking about it when you were talking.
That's all right.
Well, let's change gears then. I'll give you a different question. What tools or apps are you all using to help grow and manage the business?
Oh man, that's a challenging one. That's probably the hardest part for me because I'm not social savvy at all. And so Jim has helped me get Instagram a little bit smoother. And I'm hoping that once my son's like pro at his phone, he'll be doing the social media for me. But right now we have Facebook and Instagram, and then
QuickBooks and Square for
Square.
Got it.
Payments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good ones. Those from a productivity or from a management of business, Square and QuickBooks are really good. Yeah, and then I think today, social matters, and I've seen a lot of different people with food trucks. I did creep on your Facebook page, and I love it. It's awesome. I love the logos and all of that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of folks doing similar kinds of things are posting to Facebook, this is where we're going to be this week, or this is where we're going to be this weekend, or whatever. It seems to be a relatively good way to increase traffic to the spaces. So that's cool. All right, we're gonna move the conversation. I've warned you about this one, so we're gonna start with the one I warned you about, and then we're gonna go to the one I told you I couldn't tell you yet. So this is the Thank a Mentor segment. This is that opportunity in every show that we do to allow folks to give a shout out to somebody who's kind of helped them along the way, maybe spoken life into you when there were some challenging moments or whatever that is. But anybody that you all want to give a shout out to as a mentor who's helped you along the way.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I've had other mentors in certain aspects of my life, but I feel like with this starting our business, it was just like you and Derek to teach my son to like live life by the balls and just stay frothy and don't let something challenging. If you want to do it, just go ahead and do it. Try not to get stuck in I know some people are financially, it's hard to just leave their job and do something that they really want to do. So where we were getting out of the Marine Corps and stuff, but I think you really, I mean, I can't think of anything else with the business. So he, like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to do this on my own. And he's a hustler, like, on other aspects too, so it kind of encourages me to just work harder at what we're doing, and I challenge him when he's feeling like, I don't know, having
that was my last drink.
Yeah. So just the challenge each other in like the positive way to like be better and like teach Derek that it's okay to just like get up and do what you need to do and have fun with it if you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and those folks matter, right? And so when you're doing kind of stuff like this, they're motivating because you want the best for them, and it gets you up in the morning to make sure you're doing what you need to do.
Guy I've ever met, honestly, Jim, he doesn't stop moving. So I always say, stop being so lazy, because he literally like will go, and I'm like, gosh, now I feel like I like get up and do more. I'm like, so he challenged me that way, and, just kind of, and then we, when we take time off, and go enjoy ourselves. So, live, slow die whenever, and try not to take the lives too seriously, but yeah.
All right, Jim, you got an opportunity, but you don't have to say Sarah. You're welcome to say somebody else. Don't feel obligated to say Sarah. So.
No, I know. No, I think for me, I think one would be my dad, because he's always someone that, when in doubt, I always go to him for any guidance or questions. So he's helped me there. Probably he's more on the mental side of, that area. For business, I think I got to give a shout out to Nick Haygood with Pine Stand Coffee Company. If it wasn't for the opportunity he gave me to skill bridge with him and kind of learn the ropes and learn, how a coffee trailer works, we wouldn't have been in this position where we're at.
Yeah.
So big shout out to him and, all the people that work with him. He's still there in Camp Lejeune doing great things, and he expanded into a brick and mortar, and it's doing great. But yeah, I would say those two are the two people I definitely have to thank for, putting us in the position where we're at now.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so this is the one. You ready, Sarah? This is the tricky one. The mentor one was easy.
What it is?
All right, so if your younger self could see you now, what do you think she would think about this business?
I already know that answer.
My younger self. I don't know. I was so crazy because I was in the beauty industry forever. I didn't even want to own my own salon, even though that was an option. There's so many people to be responsible for. And I just wanted to like have fun and do hair and meet cool people. And I never thought I'd be like my own boss too. So now I'm like, it's so funny because I always joke at our coffee meetings, like they literally are just taste testing drinks. And it's like, you don't want to come to our meeting? So it's like, I don't know. I would guess I'd say
probably should have
right
started
on.
sooner.
I should have started sooner. If I would have known like how awesome it was, I would have started sooner for sure. But obviously, we moved so much. It was like hard to start any sooner. It's almost like if he wasn't getting out, it might have not happened because he was full time. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I definitely didn't think I would ever have a coffee trailer. I started drinking coffee at like 21, only to just stay up. But now I'm like obsessed with coffee. It's just like so different. And it's like, coffee shops are just we like to support, small other local businesses. So meeting other people along the way that like are inspired by coffee and just like a fun thing to do. I can't say I'll do it till I'm old, but definitely for a while. I like to one day see Derek, my son, pulling it and pulling the truck and the trailer one day, and maybe have him and his friends working. I keep telling him, I'm like, you want this job when you turn 16. I don't want to work. I'm like, when you see the paycheck, you're going to be like, okay, I'll work.
Yeah, there's bills to be paid at 16, that's for sure.
Yeah. He wants in a really nice car. I'm like, you're going to have to pay for that really nice car. So
yeah, too funny. All right, so let's get real practical for a quick second here before we wrap up in a second. But if someone was considering starting a food truck or a coffee hut or something like that, similar to what you're doing, what would be the first 2 to 3 things you would recommend for them to do?
Probably kind of seek, if it's a coffee trailer or just a food truck business or any kind of business in general, I would seek another business that's already established, and kind of see if you do some type of apprenticing or something to where you can kind of learn the ropes a little bit and get an understanding of what it takes to actually do it, and see if it's something that you're willing to sacrifice to get started up. For paper side, like I said, Google and YouTube is probably your best bet, just to unless someone that's in the business world with taxes and stuff like that. But definitely do your research and think things through, and seek a business that is already going, that where you can kind of learn from them.
We've actually had this question a lot on the Marine Corps base when we worked at his old unit. There's a lot of younger Marines that are getting out, and they're like, this is like a fun idea, or I want to do this, what do you have to do, kind of questions. And the first thing is think of a name, because you need a name to start an LLC or a tax ID. So that's like the first main thing to do. And just write everything down that you want and start one by one. Even if it's like a year away of getting out and going on your own, just start now. Don't wait until the last minute, because then you're going to be scrambling around stressing about how you're going to pay your bills. So just, one thing at a time, and it won't be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, just figure out your LLC, then figure out your tax, then see what equipment you need. And then, one by one, like we purchased things little by little. So it wasn't all in one, like, we need the loan out, we need da-da-da. So each paycheck we would buy another machine or another thing to build the trailer. And we just kind of paced it out. And so I always encourage them to like if you have a goal or if you have a dream in mind, there's no reason to wait. Just start writing things down. And little by little, all of a sudden you'll wake up one day and you're like, wow, like, I can't believe I'm here already. It'll go by fast.
I think off of that, I think another thing too is if you're going to start your own business, something small, coffee trailer, whatever it is, do whatever you can in your means to, be the most financially stable as possible, meaning like try to not be in as much debt as some other people are when they start businesses. Just like she mentioned, we kind of just cherry picked, equipment here and there as we were going. We used my, utility trailer that we moved to PCS from duty station to renovated that, as opposed to, putting $20,000 into another trailer and then rebuilding that. So kind of just, keeping it simple, get the bare necessities from what you need to start up your business, and then slowly go from there. Save up some money if you need, certain other things, but just get the bare minimum to start up and try to stay away from being in debt. Fortunately, we started the business and we had zero debt. We owned everything we started, so everything that we got, from selling coffee was, income right off the bat.
Yeah. That helped.
Yeah, that's nice not to have that debt over your head as you're trying to do some of that. I'm sure there's always pressure with starting it up, but when you don't have additional debt, it makes it a little lighter.
Yeah, and once you start, like he said, you can always add to your business. The one coffee trailer, me and you being through, they did the wrap for a few months, and then they were able to, save up that money and probably just put it towards the wrap. And it takes a little while. And I have another girlfriend. I'm like, just get what you need now, and then once you start bringing in some income, you can start purchasing more, and then you can start upgrading your supplies or buying more. You know what I mean? So, and that's the same thing we did. We waited till we had a little bit of more income, and then we purchased shirts. So we were able to sell shirts, and and also free advertisement is some stickers, like something simple. You can work a few weeks, pay for some stickers, and then just like start handing them out. People love stickers, and then they get them out there. And but yeah, we're gonna start getting more accessories and like merchandise to for the winter, maybe some hats and swag and a little bit more. So, but you gotta, if you worry about that right up front, it gets overwhelming and stressful.
Yeah.
And that takes away from
you're already behind the clear ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get pulled in too many different directions, right? I mean, that's one big thing here. And you may have answered. This is the last question I've got for you, Sarah and Jim. So you may have started down this pathway already, but what's next for Frothy Sloth Coffee Hut?
Ooh.
That's a big question because we're transitioning to Colorado and we're renting for the year to see how we like it. Because like I said, we move a lot. And as much as I want to say I love it here, we really never can predict where we're going to be next. I never thought I would be in North Carolina for 2 years, and bam, we were there. So it's like I don't worry too much about the future. I kind of like live day to day and meet people along the way. And I'd like to say we're still going to be here, but it really just depends on where life takes us. I definitely want to be with the trailer, so the trailer will be coming with us regardless of where we go. But
or a brick and mortar.
A brick and mortar. Oh,
a mini one.
I think about that when I see them. I'm like, oh, this would be fun. But then we haven't really thought about like employees yet, and that requires employees. And my son's not old enough to like take on like a full time right now, and he just went back to work full time. So,
well, the mobile part is that's the thing, being full time and her driving the trailer, and stuff can go wrong, and I'm at work and trying to like be her on-call service technician when I'm at work is kind of difficult. So I think in the future it'd be nice to have like a little
shop,
standalone like hut or whatever where people can come to, but it's probably way down the road. But
I always think about when I see an ice cream truck roll by, I'm always like, ooh, what about a Frothy Sloth ice cream hut? And then just have do that like in the summers, just for a couple months to like events that don't necessarily require coffee, but summer events always love ice cream. So I thought that would be something cute to do, maybe a little smaller trailer and just have like the ice cream stuff. But
you can add in, just do affogatos.
Affogatos, yeah.
Yeah.
So
espresso and ice cream. Done.
But yeah, I guess like just living day to day and try not to stress about the future so much. But I'm super thankful for what we did, and I wish I would have done it, started sooner. So, but it's definitely not a dream we had forever, but it was something, a few years ago they were just like, we just want to be our own boss and have fun and, live slow, die whenever.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, Start to Think family, we go faster, we get better, and have more impact when we learn with one another. Thanks so much for sharing your story today, Jim and Sarah, and thanks so much for being on the show.
Well,
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Absolutely, and best of luck to you out there in Colorado. So friends, we would love for you to like this video, and if you've not already done so, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching the episode of Start the Things show, and we hope to see you again in a future episode. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.